Anita was a young woman of modest means who, from a very young age, had set out to better herself to aspire to have a better quality of life and never allow the vicissitudes of life to stop her in the struggle for her goals. Her greatest dream was to become a doctor to help people to be healthy and happy and save as many lives as possible because she had experienced firsthand how hard it was to see a loved one die because of an illness. Although many made fun of her when she told them about her passion for her vocation, it was well known that in her country, medical studies were costly and therefore unattainable for someone of her social class. She was not persuaded by his discouraging comments and remained determined to achieve her goal. From the time she entered high school, she began to work cleaning houses, selling candy, and even carrying sacks of fruit at the market to collect coin by coin the money that would help her reach her longed-for goal. Although this would not be easy for her, sharing her time and energy between being an exemplary student and an efficient employee was pretty exhausting. Firm in her conviction, she sacrificed hours of sleep and even days of food to gradually carve out the path to the future she had chosen for herself. Despite her tremendous effort upon graduating high school, she still had not raised enough money to enroll in college. However, this did not discourage her when she had more free time. She decided to take 2 more jobs and continue working daily to get it finally. One of those 3 jobs was as a waitress in a cafe in the center of the city. Even though she barely slept a few hours after her night job, which consisted of cleaning the platforms of the subway, she always arrived with the best disposition to attend the few customers that attended the place. One morning, shortly after starting his shift, he once again saw the arrival of a business client that everyone avoided having to attend to. She was an elderly woman of about 60-something years of age who seemed to be constantly angry and who, regardless of the efforts of the servers and cooks, always ended up complaining about their attention and the quality of the menus, which she asked to change over and over again, which is why they could not explain why she kept coming back to the place every day. When she saw that absolutely none of her companions were encouraged to go and send her off, she took the initiative and approached her table with the best of smiles, ignoring the bitterness on her face. With the greatest of affection, she offered her the menu. She said, "Perfect morning, Grandma. How are you today on such a radiant day?" The lady, bewildered by his kindness, stared at him and, after giving him a brief answer, asked him to show her the menu of the day. After making a few recommendations and seeing that she didn't seem to be enthusiastic about anything, it occurred to him to ask her to come to the bar and ask her to choose the food she wanted to eat from there herself and guide the chef to prepare it the way she liked it. The manager and his colleagues watched her with great intrigue. The kitchen manager, although at first seemed uncomfortable, after noticing that the passers-by seemed to be captivated by the activity and the lady demonstrated delicacy and culinary skills, that he found entertaining in addition to being enjoyable. She ended up enjoying Anita's initiative with a smile, and the stubborn woman left the cafeteria happy and satisfied for the first time. Those who observed the dynamics were in charge of spreading the word among their friends, and after a few days, the place was full of people interested in participating in the experience. The success of the once lonely business was imminent, and this was soon reflected in the tips that Anita and her other companions received, which were so good that they gave her hope of reaching her goal sooner than she expected. The now laughing old lady, Norma, was one of the most generous to them. Every day she would get permission from the manager for Anita to sit down and have breakfast with her. They would take the opportunity to talk for a few minutes and build on the incredible friendship that had developed between them. Norma used to tell her that she remembered her deceased daughter. Her loss had been a great pain for her and added to the degenerative disease that had prevented her from running the kitchen of her restaurant. It caused her a terrible depression that was reflected in her perennial bitterness. "I always come here because she loved it when I brought her to this little place to eat ice cream when she was just a little girl. Besides, my house is half a block away, so she was not so exhausted walking there." Anita was very moved when she told her tragic story, and this encouraged her to give her love and also to fulfill her plan of becoming a doctor, to be able to help people like her and her daughter. She worked so hard that after a few months, with tears of joy, she was screaming and jumping up and down to see that she had the money she needed to be able to enroll in medical school finally. Putting all the money and necessary documents in a backpack, Anita left very early to open the cafeteria since that was the condition to be allowed to leave early and have time to go to the institute to formalize the procedure. Unfortunately, a terrible calamity not only overthrew her plans but left her with no hope of even being able to resume them later. A gang of thugs, seeing that she was alone, attacked the store and took everything, including her valuable backpack. Anita felt devastated. The fruit of so many years of sacrifice and hard work had been taken away from her cruelly, mercilessly, depriving her of the opportunity to see the dream she had fought for with sweat and effort come true. She was so depressed that she quit her jobs, including the cafeteria, which, a few days later, she was able to reopen and isolate herself from everyone around her. One afternoon, while crying disconsolately in her room, she received a mysterious mail that left her very surprised and forced her to leave the home after weeks of confinement. It was a welcome letter sent by the university, enclosing the class schedule and a map of the faculty, with the start date of the semester, which was only a few days away. Thinking that this had been a mistake or a joke in terrible taste, she went to the prestigious school, and upon hearing the words, the kind secretary ran off in tears to an address that she struggled to remember. Behind the door of the beautiful house, Norma appeared with a big smile. "Why?" questioned the still very excited girl. "You gave back my joy and courage to enjoy life, despite all that I have suffered and the evils that still afflicts me, my child. That was the least I could do for you," she declared, giving her an emotional hug. Norma, who was an incredibly wealthy woman and owner of 12 very famous restaurant networks, upon learning what had happened to poor Anita from the cafeteria manager, managed to get her personal information from him, and thanks to his influence, the prestigious university allowed him to enroll her even though she was not related to him. Anita could not find the words to thank him for what he had done for her and promised to pay him every penny, but he told her that this would not be necessary. "For me, there will be no better compensation than to see you happy, become a successful doctor of the nation, and be able to be there to witness it," replied the sweet little old lady. Norma and Anita became even closer, and when Anita finally graduated with honors from the faculty, she was the guest of honor and dedicated a touching speech to her. Dedicated to her vocation, the brilliant doctor saved hundreds of lives throughout her professional practice and founded a small medical center specialized in the care of people with degenerative diseases in honor of the memory of her great friend and the daughter with whom she was finally reunited. What do you think of this touching but impressive story? Please leave your opinion below in the comments and give me a like. For more heartwarming stories, check out the playlist to the right. Have a wonderful day.